Watching you, or just not watching, but just reading you, learning about the crack is the crack's the best.
I mean, it's the best vibe ever.
Yeah.
And like the double.
What's the crack, Johnser? Anytime I hear that, I'm like, let's do beers. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would do every single one of these episodes with beers, but I don't think that's sustainable.
Yeah.
Because for how many?
I did it for about 5 years on KFC Radio. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool. Like doing it with Dana, had to do beers. We used to drink for every KFC Radio.
No. I'm being sarcastic, but exaggerating. But yeah, we used to drink on a lot of them.
It was fun. I mean, that was fun.
I mean, when we very first started KFC Radio, like the very beginning, it was obviously on. It wasn't even just whatever we use now, Zoom. It was Google Hangout, and I would be not drunk, but I would drink beforehand because I was so nervous. I didn't. It was me, Dan, and Kevin. I didn't really know either of them. Like we G chatted and stuff like that, but I didn't know them all that well. We probably hung out 5 times in real life, and I was intimidated by them and nervous about that, and also just not just them, because they were obviously very welcoming and nice and coworkers, but like. I was nervous about talking to the public and stuff like that. So I'd probably have like 2 shots before and drink a beer during it, which is, not crazy, but it was a while.
It's the best way to loosen up.
Yeah.
It just gets it flowing. What I do now is like I drink a lot of green tea. Now, so when did you join KFC Radio?
It's a good question.
Were you just invited on every now and then, or how?
No, I think, it's honestly, I'm kind of it, not in the dark, but my memory is probably just slightly better than yours if you have none. Kevin definitely had a podcast going. I don't know that it was named KFC Radio. I think it was, but Kevin and Brendan Clancy were doing kind of a voicemail call-in show. And then Kevin had me on. I don't think it was as a guest. I think it was like, let's try this with you. I don't know for sure. I don't really remember. I think it was kind of like, let's have fights on, and it will be going forward. I think. I remember we had some voicemail, and the voicemail was something along the lines of, if you could eliminate one group of people from the planet, who would you eliminate? And I answered magicians, and they bothered me. I don't like them. And Kevin thought that was great. And I don't know if it was that answer, because Kevin references it fairly often. And so I don't know if it was that answer that made him and Brendan go, he's going to be on going forward, or if it was already the plan beforehand. I don't really recall. And then, so Kevin and I probably did, I have no idea, a handful of episodes. And then Dan was Big Cat. No one had any idea his name was Dan. Because Dan had a job. Yeah. So he kind of like when Barstool New York started where kind of K Marco was running it, and Kevin was emailing blogs. Dan was doing that with a guy named Neil, and he was completely anonymous. And then I think, again, my memory is very hazy. I think we did a few where Dan came on. And it was just either blocked out, or maybe we never did it, because we also threw out the idea maybe he'd come on and he'd just wear a mask. I don't know if we ever ended up doing that, or maybe it might have been what pushed him to be like, I'm just going to go full time and I'm going to do this show too. Yeah. You'd have to ask Dan. I don't know what his thought process was there, but it wasn't too long, if it was long at all, of just me and Kevin, and then Dan came on. I
mean, the anonymous, it almost is a sweet spot of like PFT did. Like everyone wants to like not show their face. They just want to be.
I was the only fucking one.
Yeah.
When we first started, my mom was like, why are you the only person who's using their name?
Yeah.
Because that was when I applied for the internship with New York. Kevin's email back, he thought my name was so funny. He was like, you can do it as long as you use your real name, and I get to call you like fucking Feitelberg. And I was like, sure, done. And then for 5 years, probably, maybe a little less than that, I was just the only person. At this point, Dave was big enough that people knew Dave Porter, but he was still called El Prez.
You were raw dogging it from the start.
Yeah, I took the fucking safety net right away. Like there was no going back to real life.
Dude, that's one of those wild elements of this whole thing. It's just like the transformation from, okay, I'm dipping my toe in, like, okay, no, I'm doing this full time. Now it's my life. It totally enveloped everything.
I still have a comment that bothers me to this day, even though it's definitively not true, where I had started and I was working in Milton, and I remember just reading a comment that was something along the lines of like, Feitelberg's so dumb. He's never going to be able to have a real job and never have a 401k and never have this and that. And I just thought it was right. That's why it bothers me so much, because I was like, damn, he's fucking right. This was so fucking dumb of me.
401k?
Yeah.
The 401k part's what got you.
Yeah. I do have a 401k now, motherfucker. Yeah, it was definitely harrowing for a while. Honest to God, that's a lie. I feel like I just should have said that. I never had any question.
Yeah.
Like, it was a no-brainer. Go live with my name. I didn't give that any second thought. I don't give a lot of things a lot of second thought. But I was just like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. It was I don't even think I talked to my parents about it. I think it was just like, okay, yeah, you can use my name. Let's fucking do it.